Hey everybody, just a heads up if you're watching this on YouTube, the video file got corrupted, but the audio didn't for about half of the recording time. So for this week's episode, just on YouTube, it's just going to be played underneath some generic Destiny gameplay footage. So otherwise, thank you guys all for tuning in and on with the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live from the Tower, your weekly Destiny show. And there's not much happening this week, but we did get a TWAB, and that's going to kind of be the bulk of the show this week because it's announcing Guardian Games All-Stars, which is just Guardian Games with a couple bells and whistles and a fancy new name. But in all seriousness, there's a couple interesting things that are coming with All-Stars, and I assume this is how Guardian Games is going to be going forward. They weren't really too clear. So as far as I can see and read, Guardian Games starts on March 5th, which leads me to believe Moments of Triumph ends on March 5th. So if you're still missing the Sparrow because you need two more, not titles, challenges or triumphs or whatever, you have this weekend to grind them out. And good luck, Godspeed. I've started grinding them. I need a heroic Cabal public event on Neomuna, and I need to inflict strand debuffs. I need like 19% more, so I'll probably be in Grasp of Avarice farming that and praying that the RNG gods bless me with the right spawn. Now, with all that being said, right into the action. So it shows up on Tuesday. There's a trailer out on YouTube and in the TWAB. Please feel free to go watch it. It's your standard Bungie montage trailer. So right up about the armor. The armor looks cool. A lot of fur this year. And they're leaning into the whole animal motif that they started with Destiny 2, where the warlocks are the eagles and the hunters are the snakes and the titans are the tigers or lions, right? Yeah, lions. So the armor kind of reflects that a bit more than it has in the past. Pretty much it's usually only been the class item. So in here you can see the helmets are kind of more themed to that, and every one of the armors has a bit more fur. It looks nice. It does. We know it's going to be up for silver. It should be up for bright dust. I think it's like 6,000 bright dust for any one of the armor sets. And if they've continued the trend they've done last year, you can buy any of the previous armor sets for bright dust and silver as well until the event is over. So the big news is we are getting a new personal class vehicle. It's exotic. So, which means there's going to be no legendaries, which means there's only going to be exotics, which means they're going to monetize this out the wazoo. Why? Because that's what Bungie does, and it is the Skimmer, otherwise known as the Cloud Strider's hoverboard. So they showed a lot of this off in the trailer. It looks cool. You know, I don't know if I'm going to take it over my Sparrow, but it looks cool. It's a nice, a nice little flare spice up. So there are going to be two. So there's going to be a free one that everybody gets and gets to keep, which I hope we'd get to keep it, called I know they have the name in here, the All-Star Vector, and they've shown that image in the TWAB. It's got the Guardian Games branding all over it, the red, the yellow, the blue. It's a nice change up. They're going to live in the Sparrow slot, so it's not like they're adding a new vehicle slot where you could switch between Sparrow and Skimmer depending on your choice. But there's also going to be a paid one that is only available in the store that is inspired by a beloved Destiny weapon. They didn't specify which, but it lets you grind. I'm pretty sure they talked about it. I'm looking right now in the TWAB just to make sure. So here we go. They live in the same slot as your Sparrows, and they can be used to do tricks, grind rails, or just stylishly skim around looking cool. So that'll be cool. That's a new feature we've never been able to do before, is grind on stuff. And there's a decent amount of rails, especially if you're on Neomuna. That'd be a nice change of pace. However, I do think this is just kind of another way to monetize the game and shove more stuff in Eververse, because besides this one, we don't know if there's ever going to be any more earnable ones in game. I hope there are. Again, I've said countless times on the show, one of my biggest gripes with Destiny's loot pool isn't necessarily the guns, it's the lack of cosmetics in the loot pool. I know they added old shaders to the ritual playlists, which is great, but old armor, ornaments, old emblems, ships, sparrows, ghost shells, things of that nature, you know, I think it'd go a long way with the community if they kind of took a note out of Destiny 1's book and put that stuff into playlists, you know, whether you could focus it with the ciphers or the engrams in the respective vendor screens, or if they're just random drops you get at the end of activities. It would go a long way with players. I know it'll go a long way here on the show. So the next thing that they've kind of spiced up is how, you know, medals and medallions are going to work. So they're changing it up from the past. Now, each day, class scores will be measured by the average medallion score of all players who deposited, separated by class, where it used to be whoever deposited the most. So now it's going to be an average. So even if there's more hunters than titans, the way it seems is that if the titans deposit all gold medals while the hunters are just spamming out bronze and silvers, you know, the titans may take the lead that day. They say their hope is that this will make our contributions feel more meaningful and that overall competition is less dependent on hard to understand population weighting or catch-up mechanics. This was kind of the problem with faction rallies, and it's one of the reasons faction rallies didn't do well. Basically, we would see what rewards would be for that faction rally, and everyone would just kind of go to one faction. And it was, you know, Dead Orbit's got the cool gunner shader this week. Next month, Future Warcold does, and, you know, 2 months later, New Monarchy does, and that's kind of what happened with that. It's a similar case here where the population always gets weighted differently, so certain classes just don't do as good. This hopefully will alleviate that, but who knows. So then they go in to talk about the matchmaking and how that's going to work, and there's going to be I almost forgot. Before that, there is a new change. They're going to add glows, which I don't believe were in previous Guardian games. Before, the most we had was your class item would change to bronze, silver, or gold, depending on where your class ranked amongst the others. So you get one for being the best in tower, whatever that means. There's another one for being a member of the winning class of the day. Then you get a shoulder glow linked to your weekly performance in the Nightfall playlist, a second shoulder glow for performance in the Supremacy or Gambit playlist, and a bronze, silver, or gold glow in the shape of a crown, depending on your class's place in the Friday coronation ceremony. So it's weird because they don't, minus the shoulders and the crown, they don't tell you what the other piece is for. Like, you think they do a simple, it's going to be your chest, your gloves, your cloak, your boot, your helmet. I mean, it might be that, but they have two glows for your shoulders. What I assume is it's going to be is maybe it'll glow like the Nightfall sigil on one, you know, whatever Crucible or Gambit medal on the other one. So that's new, and that's some stuff you can earn, which is cool. I mean, they've done glows before. We've had the blue flame from Nightfalls. We have the Trials of Osiris glow. We used to have fire for the Iron Banner ornaments. It is what it is. It's gonna be fun. It'll be a fun little change of pace. So now they're adding this, and I don't know if they did this last year. I didn't really play Guardian games, but they're adding this focus modifier. And what that means is every day from Monday to Thursday, for 2 hours, one of the playlists will be the focus playlist, whether that's Nightfall, Crucible Supremacy, or Gambit Supremacy. So essentially what that means is for those 2 hours Monday to Thursday, or the 3 hours Monday to Friday, for Friday to Sunday rather, you will get bonus rewards with better prizes for each tier of the activity you do. So they said there's the Playing a focus activity unlocks up to 3 tiers of reward packages that go from bronze to gold, better prizes for each tier. Then there's the champion package, and that will go to the class that dominates the focused activity by earning the highest scores. Another thing they're doing is they are, I believe, changing how... Here we go. Nightfalls can have standard matchmaking or class-based matchmaking. Supremacy will have mixed or same class matchmaking. And Gambit, the only choice is to go class versus class, which is different from what they did last year, if I recall correctly. Please feel free to correct me somewhere in the comments. So we do have a new weapon. We have a grenade launcher, and it's going to come with Volt Shot and what else is it coming? Chain Reaction. So that's cool. It looks like Edge Transit, so can't wait for the memes to come up. And we are getting a Guardian Games Memento, which they show on the seasonal pulse rifle for Season of the Wish, which looks really good. It's almost got New Monarchy vibes. It's got a black stock and grip, and then the base color of the gun is kind of like that crimson red, that scarlet that we get from New Monarchy, and it's got gold trim with a touch of blue. So that's just about it for Guardian games. Like I said, there's not really much going on. We're kind of in the... I mean, I don't want to call it... I've called it a content drought. There's stuff to do, but more or less it's a content drought while we wait for Final Shape, which comes out in June. But if you're trying to catch up, there was the Humble Bundle that was on sale. You could get Shadowkeep to Lightfall annual pass for $40, which is an absolute steal. If you didn't get it, oh well. I do think some people have gotten it because I have made a new Titan, or I've kind of like remade my Titan, and I'm going back through the campaigns just to kind of get caught up. I'm gonna forego any of like the exotic quests or stuff that aren't attached to Lightfall and its seasons. So I'm not gonna do Xenophage. I'm not gonna do Deathbringer. I'm not gonna do whatever the... I don't even think you can do the Parasite quest anymore. I think it was like a one and done, which is fine. I wasn't gonna do it anyway, but... And I'd started today, and while I was playing the intro to Shadowkeep, there were a lot of level 6s, so I don't know if they were returning players. I don't know if they were players who are just... Maybe that's the weekly mission this week, is the intro mission where you storm the Sorrow's Harbor. But when I was doing the New Light, there were a lot of low-level characters. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of Guardian rank 1s, a couple 2s, so new players are definitely coming to the game, probably because of the Humble Bundle. And now for March, the Witch Queen is free with PlayStation Plus. No matter what your tier is, you can get the Witch Queen and play all of the content for free. And I believe it's yours to keep as long as you have PlayStation Plus, which you kind of need to play Destiny anyway. So there's stuff to do if you're trying to catch up. You have plenty of time. If you're all caught up, you have plenty of time to kind of clear out your inventories. I've reworked my Final Shape prep list 2 or 3 times at this point. Originally, I was going to do all the seasons on my 2 characters who haven't done it yet. And then I was like, no, I'll just do it on 1 character because, I mean, maybe I'll do Season of the Deep. I was looking at maybe getting all the titles, but Season of the Deep's title is such a pain, because you have to reset your rank at the war table. But the problem is they get rid of all the seasonal bounties, so it takes forever to upgrade your seasonal rank even with a full set of Werewalker armor. So we'll see what happens. I've basically boiled it down, and I've already started. I went into my hunter's inventory, cleared out everything but like 2 sets of armor and 1 set of weapons. Or now 2 sets of weapons because I was using Strand today. Emptied out her quest log, so she's all set to go for Final Shape. Warlock did the same thing. Went in, stored everything in the vault, kind of set up my day 1 loadout, which is going to be the Sunsinger build that everyone's using right now. And You can call me lame for using it, but I like it because I've always loved sun bracers. And to throw infinite grenades is fantastic. So I've got that all set up. I've got Sunshot equipped. I may tweak his transmog. I'm using the Eververse Universal Ornaments from... Was it Season of Defiance or Season of the Seraph? It might have been Season of the Seraph. But I might change that up. And as for his quest log's completely emptied. And as for my Titan, fresh class, once I unlocked all the destinations, I kind of got rid of the New Light quest. I don't really need to do it again, especially when I have, you know, I could do it on my PC, on Steam, or on Epic Games. I don't really need to do it on my account, my normal account. So I kind of scrapped that. I don't need to do Risk Runner again. I was doing some bounties, leveling up, because I still need to get level 100 on my Battle Pass, or my Season Pass. So I did all that. So now he's knee-deep in Shadowkeep, and I'm at the point, I just did the Scarlet Keep Strike, so I have to do all the essences to get the rest of the armor. And then once I get the armor, I'm probably going to skip her memory quest, because I've done it before. I'm going to skip the Xenophage quest, because I've done it before. I'm going to skip the Death Singer quest, because I've done it before. And this is a kind of way to not... This is my way to not get burnt out again on Destiny, because I am getting excited for Final Shape. I'm getting back into it. I'm rewatching old Vidocs, and I'm falling in love with Destiny again, despite its flaws. I'm not blinded by any rose-tinted goggles. I know it has problems, and I can see the problems, but I'm reminding myself why I fell in love with Destiny in the first place. So that's why I'm just going to do the main quests. I have things I want, like I want to go into Witch Queen with a full set of... I'll probably do a full set of like Season of the Lost armor, and then when I go into Lightfall, I'll probably wear the full set of Seraphim armor, and then I'll probably get all the armor. That way when my Titan goes into Final Shape, he'll have a full set of the Season of the Wish armor. Because I used to do that for... I did that in Beyond Light. I grinded out the ornaments and everything for the Season of Arrival set, which I think was the Siegebreaker set. And I wore that on all my characters going into Beyond Light. And I kind of fell off of that. And one of the reasons is because the seasonal armor, in my opinion, I'm not a fan of the direction they've been going with each subsequent season. I really like Season of the Risen. I liked the Cabal, and then the Scion armor. I thought it was really nice. I'm trying to think of the rest of those seasons. Season of the Risen. What do we have? Season of the Haunted. The Grim Reaper stuff was kind of cool. And what was after Season of the Plunder? I liked some of the pieces, like the Warlock robes that were actual robes with the cutlass on the back. I thought those were really cool. But, you know, when I think Guardian, I don't think of a pirate or a cowboy. Even though some of those looks can work. Like maybe on the Hunter, the cowboy hat from the... What's the dungeon called that they dropped? I honestly don't remember. But all the armor was... not Jacob's. Who makes Last Word? I can't even think of the Foundry now. That's how disconnected I've been that I can't even remember some of this stuff. But you know what I'm talking about. It's the cowboy hat everybody wanted. But when I think Destiny, and this has been even more so because I've been going back and playing through Destiny 1, the art direction in Destiny 1, it was grim, it was dark, it was gritty. You know, the armor made you feel like a space soldier. No matter what your class, like the Warlocks, you wore the scholarly robes, right? The Hunters had the capes. The Titans had that space armor. Like you were a soldier on the front lines. It was slim, it was sleek, it was futuristic, it was really great. And a lot of the sets in D2 kind of lost that. And don't get me wrong, I love some of the sets in D2, 100%. But lately, the Season of the Deep set, I do not like at all on the Hunter. The jellyfish cloaks. I mean, there was the Season of the Chosen armor that people didn't like with like the big orbs and stuff. It's you know, And it's subjective. Like, I'm not saying they're objectively bad armor. Subjectively, I am not the biggest fan of it. Like I said, there's stuff to do. There's plenty of time to catch up. This is also plenty of time to go and play other things. Like I said, I was playing earlier today and I got a little bit bored. So instead of trying to force myself, I popped on a stream, you know, kind of had that, not imposter syndrome, but like kind of like that masking where I was like, oh, somebody's in the room with me, so I'm going to get this done. But I may go play Gotham Knights. I may go play the Immortals of Avium. You know, this is a great time to go and play something else and come back fully excited. It's also a great time to catch up because we have all this time where nothing's going on. We know in April, after Guardian Games is over, we're getting the Into the Light update. There are some leaks about what that update is. I've heard the leaks. I'm not going to tell you guys the video. As you know, we have a big no leak policy on the show. But it could be kind of interesting. Time will tell, right? But next week when we come and meet, we'll definitely be talking about how Guardian Games feels. Is it finally better than the previous years? Did they innovate enough? Or is it the same old monetization churn to get all the whales to spend their money? With all that being said, thank you so much for tuning in today, and until next time, fly safe, Guardians.